Hey guys, appreciate you joining us. We do these live training every Thursday at 2 p.m. We'd love to have you on. Feel free to hop on, ask questions, interact with the coach, with me. And we'll be tackling different topics every single week. Sometimes we do series, sometimes I just sort of skip around. And this week we're going to tackle some of the biggest Craigslist myths that I hear. And this was kind of brought on by an agent that actually hit on 3 of these this week. He, bless his heart. And if you're not Southerner, in the South, we can say bless his heart, and that discounts everything that we say after it. But no, he's a super nice guy, but he has some misunderstandings about Craigslist. And I thought that we could tackle some of those myths that I hear time and time again, not only from this agent, but from lots of agents. And since we've been really successful on Craigslist, I hear these a lot. Well, what about X? And so we'll tackle the 5 biggest myths with Craigslist today. So the first one, this is a super easy one, because with this first one, I always hear, well, there's a bunch of shady characters or scammers on Craigslist. And the truth is, I think this comes from a couple places. The first place, Craigslist back in the day, they used to have some of the prostitution and drug deals and stuff like that. Nowadays, it's been probably 15 years since any of that stuff even existed on Craigslist, much less was prevalent. And so a lot of that stuff is a non-factor. But the other reason why I think that this reputation comes from is the news articles, the splashy headlines that say, couple scammed out of their rental home. And the reality is, I don't think you're ever going to get away from this. I wouldn't put this on Craigslist in any way. The biggest reason why is because Craigslist is like any other place where you can post a listing. If you post your listing online and it's available, it could potentially be taken by scammers. The same is true of Zillow, but Zillow for some reason escapes this reputation. So again, don't blame the platform for the potential scams and whatnot. And the truth is, if you're advertising on Craigslist, it means you're present on Craigslist, and you can make sure that your listings are not ending up there in the hands of potential scammers and whatnot. So that's the first myth busted. Number 2. That you have to spend money on Craigslist ads. And I actually heard this from this guy. This was part of what prompted this. But you absolutely do not have to spend a dime on Craigslist to post real estate for sale ads. Now, there are some sections on Craigslist where you have to spend money. If you're posting for a job, for example, or if you're in New York City and you're posting a property for rent, then you have to pay a small fee to post an ad. But for the real estate for sale sections in every other area across the country, you do not have to spend a dime on Craigslist. Super easy one to bust. The third one, and this is probably the most prevalent, this is the thing that I hear from agents all the time, particularly when it comes to I don't know about posting real estate ads on Craigslist or generating leads from Craigslist. And this is that there are only low-end customers on Craigslist. In other words, I'm just scraping the bottom of the barrel, and we're looking at investors and people that just want to get a deal or foreclosures, etc. And I'll read for you a couple of statistics, because this is the reality about Craigslist customers. Number 1, they're much more likely to be college educated. Okay. Number 2, they're much more likely to be high income earners, 6 figures or more. Number 3, they're younger, which nowadays is actually a big thing, because NAR recently released a statistic that for first-time home buyers, in other words, the type of customers that you connect with and then connect for life, you're looking at a median age of 32, which is right in Craigslist's wheelhouse. And the reality is, Craigslist gets 60 million unique users every single month. That is an enormous number. If you just think of the population of the United States, and these users are primarily from the United States, although Craigslist exists everywhere. 350 million in the United States, 60 million of which are on Craigslist, using Craigslist. That's an enormous number, and I'd say you're almost doing a disservice to your seller if you're not posting your listings on Craigslist. The same way that if your listings are not present on Zillow, you're probably doing a disservice to your seller. So like I said, low-end customers, that's just not true. I don't know where that perception came from. Not true in any way. They're more likely to be college educated and earn more money. And in fact, I have an agent that I talk to regularly that posts ads on Craigslist. He's in a market that the average home price is $1 million plus, and he generates about 70 leads a month from Craigslist exclusively. Regularly sells properties that are in that price range. So again, myth busted. Then we have the one, and I hear this occasionally, but the Craigslist is super strict with ads. In other words, I'll have agents come to me and say, well, I've posted on Craigslist, I kept getting them flagged or deleted. Well, the first thing is, Craigslist, they have 60 million users a month, but they have 40 employees. So Craigslist, it doesn't happen that they're actively moderating these sections. So when you look at ads that are getting flagged or deleted, they're getting flagged or deleted because the users of those sections decide to flag the ads. And there's not a 100% science, but the general thing is if your ads are getting flagged or deleted on a regular basis, not a one-off, once every now and then, if they're getting flagged or deleted on a regular basis, it probably means the ads you're writing are low quality. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news if that's a surprise to you, but if you're posting actual properties for sale and you're giving them good information, your ads will not get flagged and deleted. It's the simple truth. We have hundreds of agents running Craigslist ads all across the country in every type of market you could think of. And again, a vast majority of them have zero problems with getting flagged or deleted. Every now and then we'll run into, agent competition, making these ads get flagged or deleted. But again, that's a very, very small minority. And like I said, it's user driven. It's not by Craigslist. Craigslist absolutely not strict with the ads, except they do allow their users to moderate the sections. And then number 5 is that you have to spend hours on Craigslist ads to get anything. And I know exactly where this comes from, because if you're in a typical real estate office, then you know that weird guy who sits in the corner and he's the only guy that you probably know that does Craigslist ads, and he spends hours posting Craigslist ads all day. And the reason why he has to do that is Craigslist will typically only generate about 5 or 7 clicks per ad. There's so many ads up that your ad, whatever small amount of attention you can get from it, even among the millions of users, you're probably going to get 5 or 7 clicks to your website. And if you have the typical real estate website, it would mean it has a capture rate of about 1%. That means it would take dozens of ads to even capture one lead. And that's why that guy's sitting in the corner furiously posting Craigslist ads all day and switching to 15 different accounts so he can post a bunch of them. Our average agent spends about 20 minutes a day, and they generate upwards of 70 to 80 leads a day. And the biggest difference, you have to have effective lead capture. So it's true that a lot of agents, absolutely, if you want to use Craigslist effectively to generate leads, then they're going to have to spend hours on Craigslist. But if you have a good, effective capture tools, then you don't have to spend hours. You can spend a few minutes a day posting ads regularly. And like I said, you don't have to spend hours. So that's the 5th myth that we hear regularly that I just want to sort of bust and get out of here. So I did include a link in the video description here. It goes over our Craigslist strategy in general. So if you've never used Craigslist before to generate real estate leads, it's super easy. In fact, I describe exactly how I ran a campaign last month that generated 67 leads. I spent not even 20 minutes a day. I spent about 5 or 10 minutes a day running very easy, simple Craigslist ads. And in fact, I completely go through what an ad should, what a good ad should be, the different capture tools that we use. And again, we do, full disclosure, we obviously sell capture tools as part of GorillaRealty.com. And you can check those out on our site as well. But I actually talk about on our strategy, in the guide that I wrote, I talk about how you can build your own capture tools. So you can duplicate the success without even having to buy anything. So anyways, check it out. Click the link below. If you have any questions, feel free to post them below. And we'll join you next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thanks a lot, guys.